why do I even bring it up? Why am I even bringing up the replacement theology and the allegory issue in the first place when Jesus doesn't give us really any allegory? He gives us a parable, and he doesn't give us an explanation, an interpretation. Why am I bringing it up? Because Christianity has supplied the allegory down through the ages. It's nearly 1900 years old. This allegory goes way back. I mean, it goes way back. Pick up nearly every modern Christian commentary, and they all have the same kind of viewpoint on this, on their allegory, that the old is out, the new is in, Judaism's out, Christianity's in. But if that's the case, then Yeshua's final statement in verse 39, which Luke is the single exclusive that renders it, if that's the case, then no one after drinking old wine desires new, for he says the old is good. Sounds like that doesn't fit with their theology. If in fact the old represents Judaism and the new represents Christianity, well then why does Yeshua make it a point to highlight that after experiencing Judaism's wine, no one desires Christianity's wine? Why? Because Judaism is, and then here's where you can fill in the blank with whatever manuscript family you prefer, because Judaism is good, or Judaism is better, right? All right. That's why I made it a point to highlight that. Okay, let's now turn to my own commentary again. We read this last week, but I'm going to reread this part because I felt like I hurried through it, and I shouldn't have really even took a bite out of it, but I did. Let me reread this passage. We just got through studying David Stern, who's a Messianic Jew. We read his commentary on this section, on this passage. We came to find out that he disagrees with standard Christian replacement theological allegorical interpretations of this passage. No brainer, right? No, of course. David Stern is a Messianic Jew, and he's going to champion what my good friend Caleb Haig over at Torah Resource Institute calls Tim. By the way, Caleb Haig is Tim Haig's son, and Caleb Haig and I are good friends. And Tim and I are good friends as well, but Caleb and I have a more fluid relationship. We were able to dialogue more because Tim's always too busy to chat with me, but Caleb's always got time. And Caleb is fond of this term pronomian. Pronomian. The word nomian refers to law, right? As in nomos in the Greek. And so pronomian simply means you're pro Torah, or if you're hearing my podcast or YouTube video you're watching, and you ever heard this term pronomian, N-O-M-I-A-N, pronomian, P-R-O, then it's a way of describing you if you're part of either the Hebraic roots movement or the Messianic Jewish movement, and you're in favor of Christians keeping Torah. Pronomian is a term that describes what you believe in, because you do believe that the Bible's the Torah is still relevant. The opposite would be antinomian or non-nomian, something like that. You're not really against Torah, but you're not in favor of keeping it. Non-nomian or antinomian, something like that. But pronomian is what Caleb had used. In fact, I think he has a website called pronomian.com. So David Stern is pronomian. That's why I bring up that term. David Stern is pro-Torah. He's pronomian. I am too. So let's read his thoughts, or let's read my concluding thoughts to David Stern's thoughts. Here's what I say. Do you see how much better David Stern's view fits with the overall historic message of both TaNaKH and Apostolic Scriptures than do the views of the previously examined mainline Christian position on these verses? And what I showcased by bringing in Stern's commentary was that another way of viewing this section where Yeshua introduces these old and new elements is to simply understand that Yeshua is talking about reforming the old but keeping it. So you're not throwing out the baby when you throw out the bathwater. You're instead realizing that you can work with the existing system as long as you bring reform to the man, to the people, and you return to the basic elements that God instituted when we're talking about Judaism and the laws of Moses and things like that. It's really what we're talking about is a return to the law of Moses and ripping out the error of rabbinic tradition and halakha that clouds the true meaning of God's word. So we're talking about discarding copious amounts of oral Torah, but we're in favor of retaining all of God's written Torah as is applicable to us. So that's what David Stern is proposing, is he's saying, hey, we can still have a Messianic Judaism, but we just need to clean it up a little bit.